let's face it, you and your team are constantly faced with new challenges and ever more complex problems. The truth of the matter is that the more complex and difficult problems are, the more difficult are the decisions and the greater the risks. When these traps coexist at the same time, the end decision may be far from ideal. You guessed it, today we're going to be speaking about complex problems. And I can think of no better example to give than the example of Alexander the Great and the Gordian knot. A term commonly used to describe these seemingly unsolvable complex problems is the Gordian knot. This term can be traced back to the life of Alexander the Great, to an epic chapter where he enters Gordium, the capital of Phrygia, present-day Turkey. This was about the year 333 BC. Upon entering the city, he encountered a chariot tied with a very complex knot that Roman historians later described as several knots all so tightly entangled that it was impossible to see how they were fastened. Phrygian legend had it that an oracle in ancient times had decreed that anyone who can unravel the knot was to be hailed as the king of Asia. Alexander the Great was seized by the desire to untie this knot, to solve this riddle, so once and for all he could be seen as the ruler of Asia. So after wrestling with this knot for several hours, he stepped back from the knot and said, "It makes no difference how these knots are loosened as long as they are loosened, as long as a solution is found." So he drew his sword and with one decisive move, he slashed the knot. And finally, the knot was solved forever. Now, I'm sure you yourself are encountering some very complex problems in your area of work, in your profession. And if you aren't, I'm sure your team or the personnel in your company are facing complex problems all the time. And that's why me and my partner, Christos Agro, have put together an amazing seminar that will actually help your people start thinking out of the box, start thinking decisively, start thinking creatively, and become much better at solving complex problems alone or even better together as a team. In this seminar, we have various tools and techniques all sourced from the most effective methodologies and approaches to solving problems. Either we can do it in Greece here as a retreat for your team, or we can come out to where you are in the UAE or United States, Asia, wherever you may be. We'll come out there and do this seminar for you and your team. So have a click below and see what that's all about, solving complex problems for you and your team.